don't mind the Cybertruck. We got Dairon right here from Silicon Valley Lights. He's gonna help us install some Govee lights. Well, not yet, because we're gonna get a quote and see if he's the one that will work for us, because Govee lights are awesome, but they do require intricate installation to do it right and to do it perfectly. That's why we're looking at professionals like Dairon, right?
Hi,
from
Dairon.
Silicon Valley Lights. What area do you service? What do you do? And why should we pick you for our Govee outdoor lights?
Yeah, so hi guys, my name is Dairon. I'm the owner and founder of Silicon Valley Lights. We mainly service the entire Bay Area. Our office is in San Francisco, but we go around the whole entire Bay Area, so we cover all of that. Right now, David, right?
Yes.
David, you brought me here today because you're interested in installing some Govee lights.
Yes.
Our company specializes in Govee lights. We've been doing Govee light installations for the past 3 years now, so we have plenty of experience. Making sure that everything is as clean as possible, as professional as possible, and of course we want to make sure that you guys have a good customer experience. So if you guys want to reach out, siliconvalleylights.com, but we're the most reliable installer in the area, and we have competitive pricing.
Ooh.
So that's basically that. Now obviously David wants to kind of get the expert runaround as to what we should be doing here, how we should install the lights, what works, what doesn't. So we're going to give you guys a little bit of a rundown from the expert, a little bit of expert talk as to exactly what we need for something like this.
Perfect. And later on, we'll actually help people understand which one to get, whether it's the classic Govee Outdoor Lights original version or version 2 or even the Pro. And I would assume that's based on how complicated my install is, or would you always, okay, perfect. Yeah. All right, so we'll leave that for later. Why don't we take a look around the house and give me some ideas on how to install.
Yeah.
So basically my house is a big rectangle. I have two types of installation I'm looking at. One is very simple. We'll go from this side, that side, and the back, and then in the front, and then we'll get the gate up there, and that will be it for the first run around. And then the second option is I want to save money. If that's too expensive, we'll just do the front here, over here, and just the gate at the front right there.
Yeah.
And then the third option, which I'm super excited about, is potentially we can see if Govee's interested in collaboration with you and me, so that they can send us more lights and we can go crazy and have your idea of how crazy we can get as far as it goes with the Govee permanent outdoor lights. So take a look and let me know how you would install the lights. I'm more interested on, like, for example, the technical details of my rafters. You see how they're not evenly spaced and they're not ideal soffits. Makes it hard to install Govee outdoor lights in this type of situation. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so just getting started here on this corner, obviously, the ideal thing would be to have eaves that are completely flat, right? But in this case, we have these rafters that stick out. And so, a lot of people have a lot of issues when figuring out how to install these when they do it themselves, because the length of the wires for each Govee light unit is a specific amount, and sometimes the rafters do not match that. So you need something that sits on top of it. So usually with things like these, we would either use a piece of trim board, or we would have these special raceways that are specifically designed for the Govee lights. So that's actually a new addition that we have now, just to get the more clean look, to ensure that they can sit on top of the rafters, be perfectly straight, and be run all the way across. Now when it comes to these details up here, we have a little arch. Obviously the rafters kind of change in height. That's something that's a little bit more challenging, and so thankfully with the railways that we have, we can actually make 90-degree turns. We can cut it at whatever point we'd like, and then if necessary, then we might have to have a small bit of exposed wire, or we can still make kind of like a U-turn and run it across the rafter inside and then come over that way. So it could all be done using the raceways. If necessary, if the raceways don't work, then we might be able to compromise a little bit on some wire. But obviously we want to have the best look here, so the most likely scenario is that we'll take the extra time to make sure that everything is covered with the raceway, and that there isn't anywhere on the house that's not covered. And
perfect.
So
and will we also be able to get the one light at the peak of that gate, because that's one of my pet peeves?
Yeah. Yeah, so the way, as long as we do the measurements right, and we kind of set that one in first, you know, because if we start from the left side and then we go to the right, they'll be like, oh crap, you know, we didn't measure it correctly. So,
right,
you know, if we put enough slack on the left side and make sure that we get at least one light up there in the middle, then we should be able to have a light up there. No problem.
Awesome. I like that. I like having the raceway all around because it feels complete.
That's right.
Some vendors were quoting me installers where they would do the raceways on the side but not at the top just because they said they don't need it.
Yeah.
Some says don't even use raceway, just use wood and then staple them really closely and then paint them. That'll be more of a seamless installation.
Right.
But what are your thoughts about those type of options?
Yeah, I mean, obviously people have different budget constraints, and people have different style preferences as far as how they want their lights installed. So, personally, we've had plenty of people that don't really care about having the exposed wires, and of course some are a little bit more specific on exactly how they want the lights to be displayed under. So, we have no problem with that. Personally, I'm very picky with my lights and how I have everything displayed. So, I wouldn't give a suggestion for this house that I wouldn't personally do myself. I don't think it's a problem adding the raceways and having it go all the way along. I'm kind of like the type of person that's like, if you have it somewhere, why not have it everywhere, right?
Yep.
So you want to match the pattern throughout the entire house to make sure that you don't have any sections that look like we were cutting corners, or just like too lazy to install these things, right?
Yes.
So yeah, that would not be an issue, and that's something that we offer happily to our customers. If you want it, fine. If you don't, cool.
Okay, cool. So we're still going with the basic install. So if it's basic, we'll wrap around there, and then we'll go to the side and back, right?
Yes.
So let's see if there's any more challenges there. And by the way, think about like how you're gonna route the power too. I do have one outlet in the attic that you can easily get through to any of those holes right there, all
perfect.
around the house.
I see.
It's a rectangular house, and the outlet is like right in the middle of my attic. So
yeah,
super easy to get to.
Okay, that's perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, so with that, it seems like you have these holes all the way around.
Yes.
So that actually makes it really convenient to get power.
Extremely.
If for those watching who don't have these holes here, most of the time we would find different ways to route the wires. A lot of times these right here are actually really good to conceal the wires, because you can tuck them in either behind or like in the corner. So that way, you can route it down, and then let's say we'd like run it into the garage, or maybe you have an outlet out there. It's very easy to conceal these wires, but thankfully David here has amazing holes that'll make the job a lot easier. But yeah, so coming around, obviously we'll need like a 90-degree turn for the raceway right there. It really shouldn't be much of an issue to get that done. There's a few height changes up there in that corner, but that's something that we could easily take care of. Honestly, overall, the architecture of David's roof is really not too complicated. Maybe there's a few places where the wood sticks out a little bit more downwards, and it's like the height is not congruent across the whole entire the roof. So the rafters are a little bit lower, like on this end and on that end. And so down there, we'd have to do something creative with the raceways, so that they kind of just wrap around it, and we can keep the consistent look throughout the entire house.
Nice. All right. So home stretch, right?
Yes.
And there's also electrical panel here in case you couldn't get to the outside soffits. Maybe you can wire to the panel here and run through the rain gutter right there, right?
That's right. That's right.
Cool. So inside back here is where some installers face a little bit of a challenge just because of ladder access. So why don't you take a look around back here? Let me know how you'll wire the lights back here, if there's any challenge there, and if you have any challenge getting a ladder in back there.
Sure. Yeah, so from what I can see, it looks like all the rafters are the same size, and so it would be pretty simple to run the guide all the way through, so that we can get those Govee lights nice and perfect and straight.
Yes.
So it really doesn't seem like it'd be much of a challenge. Obviously, we do have a little bit of things in the way. The biggest challenge would probably be that one right there.
Yep.
Yeah, this one I would say would probably have to be, instead of shifted backwards, probably like shifted forward.
Okay.
That way we can get the ladder here, because if we shift this backwards, if we put this amount of space here,
Yep.
that's still kind of too much of a steep angle to put the ladder in.
Okay.
So it would probably have to come forward a little bit in order for us to get space. But other than that, this is perfectly doable. This space right here is good enough. Even if we have to bring the ladder all the way back here, it would be good enough to safely climb and install the Govee lights on this roof. So I really don't see it like too much of a roadblock here.
Nice.
This is actually a pretty good candidate of a home to get these lights installed.
Oh, really?
Yes. Okay.
For a DIYer, I think it's a little bit difficult because I don't have the easy soffits. I have rafters, but relatively easy then.
Yes, with the raceways, it makes it a lot easier.
Nice.
You know, it would be nice if Govee offered these raceways themselves, but
I agree.
Maybe in the future. Maybe in the future. This side, I mean, pretty much the same. The rafters, as long as the height of the rafters doesn't vary too much, then it makes it pretty easy to just go across with the raceway.
Yep.
You know, obviously here it looks like all of them are pretty much the same height. They don't like drop down too much.
Nope.
So same thing over here. It seems like it'd be pretty straightforward to just loop all the way around the house.
Awesome. Okay, so I like it. So far the basic installation is a go.
Yes.
Right. Go all around and get that front gate. Now, what about saving money? What are your thoughts about going at the back here and the side? Like, does it matter? Would you recommend it? If we're on a budget, do you think it's okay to avoid it, or I'm gonna regret that decision as we come back in about 2 weeks and say, finish the lights?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm just going to give you the most honest answer as I can, right? Because I want the best solution that works for you.
Yes.
So for a lot of people who have big backyards and who spend a lot of time outside, it might be more convenient to put the lights, you know, around the back because you're spending time there, you have your friends over and you want them to look at your lights, and, you know, obviously it's like a nice and joyful thing, especially during the holidays. But it seems like the space back there is kind of tight and it's not like really a place that you may hang out a lot. So I think it's perfectly okay to, you know, not go with the lights back there if you don't need to. Obviously, if like you want to maintain the perfect look all the way across the house, you know, make sure that it's 360 degrees all the way around, then go for it. But, you know, my professional opinion would be it's not necessary.
I love that opinion.
Yeah.
I do want to add one thing. I love my cameras. So these are really high-end cameras that work great in low lights and work great at no lights, but work the best when there's some ambient light.
I see.
So when I notice around here, when I have my Govee curtain lights, these cameras were phenomenal.
Wow.
Because they pick up the light from the Govee lights, and they have really good color at night, which I think would be a plus to have all around the house, because I have cameras back there, as you can see right there. They'll pick up nicely too, and also it's also a nice theft deterrent to have lights all around, and it also looks nice to have like warm white even when it's not the holiday. Just kind of complete the look. So that's kind of why, even though if it's a budget thing, I would say no, but I kind of want to go all out because I'm hiring an installer. They're gonna do this once, and these are permanent outdoor lights that I never want to take off. So that's why I'm thinking, if it's budget right, I'm gonna go all the way. If it's not, then I might consider not doing it, but I feel like I'm going to ask you to come back anyway, just because it just doesn't feel complete to me.
Right.
Okay, so cool. We got two of the options down. Now, if I give you the freedom to go just crazy with unlimited lights and pretty much not a set budget, how would you wire my house, and where would you add more lights?
So I want to touch on the kind of the difference in the lights here, because
let's do that.
Because we have these permanent outdoor lights too, and then we have the RGBIC, and then we don't have them here, but there's also the pros.
Yes.
And so for a lot of people, they're wondering exactly what light to pick. A lot of people are like, oh well, if it says pro, that means it's the best one, right? And so in my experience, I've learned that for houses like these that don't have I don't know, crazy arches that you have to run a wire to it, and you don't have to hide any sort of cables or do anything like that. These two lights are great options for that if you don't need to do any long cable routing, cable extensions for big eaves and great architectural differences in different places of your home. For this is pretty straightforward. So these two lights will be great. Now, as far as Govee RGBIC and the Govee permanent outdoor lights too, These two are both pretty versatile. In my personal opinion, I think that these Govee RGB IC lights are honestly good enough to do the job. These offer all the effects that you might want. People are obviously buying these because they don't want to be on ladders every single year, installing more lights, and then the holidays come around, and then like you said, there's other niche interests, like for example security and just like having more lights around the house. And maybe it's not a thing for the holidays, it's just you want some warm lights, you want something that just kind of gives nice accented lighting all the way across your home. So honestly, I think these lights are the best choice right here. For most people, they would want to go with those. You have the app control, you can sync it with your Amazon Alexa, with your Google Home. It's all inside the app. There's even music sync, which is cool. If you want to have music during the holidays, or July 4th, and you have your parties, and there's like different effects for all of the holidays, and you can do custom effects, and you can customize all the colors. So honestly, these are extremely versatile lights. And so for anyone that doesn't want to be breaking their back or risking their life, going the ladder every single year just to make your family happy, this is kind of a one-time solution right here. You put them up, they're good to go, and then you never have to worry about it again. So this would be my go-to right here.
Right, and also we have links down below for all of these lights. This is the most affordable one, and they're often on sale because this is maybe 2 or even 3 years old now, and this was more like last year, and the Pros is like in between, right? Yeah. Okay, so I know you're gonna touch on it, but I'm still curious. Like this one, you can't do cuts, right?
No.
This one, but there's a couple extensions included.
Yes.
And this one, you technically can do cuts, but not warrantyable, because I know Govee doesn't allow it, but I know a lot of YouTubers do it and they get away with it. And then this adds a little bit more white than this one, and these are a little bit brighter than this one. And this one also has more scene modes, like 20 more scene modes than this one. And then there's a Pro that has the same number of scene modes as this, ironically, but they're even brighter than the two, and then they're cuttable, and they can go up to 200 feet, where these can go up to 150 feet. And yeah, so that's kind of my understanding. But can you touch a little bit more on why someone would go with the two, and then ultimately why would someone go with the Pros?
Yeah, so obviously, I mentioned these as being the first pick just because for a lot of people who are doing Christmas lights, you're going to be more of a DIY person, and you want to be more budget friendly, right? And so for most people, this is good enough. Now, if you're the type of person that is kind of like a you want the best of the best, and you want to make sure you have as much features as possible, and you want to make sure that if you're going to put money into something, that you get everything you want, then yes, you can go for these lights right here, which offer maybe a little bit more brightness, a few more features. Personally, we don't cut these just because we want to maintain the warranty of this. But if that is something that that you want to do, and obviously you're going to have to void the warranty to do, maybe that might give you a little bit more versatility. Now for the Pro lights, the Pros are the absolute most expensive. If you buy a box of 200 feet, it's going to run you around $650 to $700 on Amazon, as far as I saw last time. So,
and we'll have the most recent prices on the list down below.
Yes, so that's how much that would run you, and that would be the official way of if you want to cut these lights, and you have, like, for example, right here, for a lot of people it might be challenging to string these lights all the way down here, and then how do you bring it up here? And then how do you bring it up here? So you need to have these different circuits, and that's why with the Pros are really good, because you can make these cuts, you can make these connections, and you can run these extension cords that aren't lit up. That way you only light up what you want to light up. So the Pros give you the most versatility in that sense, that they have a decent amount of features. They're versatile in the installation, and you don't have to worry about voiding a warranty when you cut the wires. So that's my opinion on the Govee Pros.
And the warm white though, because I know that this has one white, but it's not adjustable, and it's obviously not as bright. So would you also agree on that? The warm white?
So for a lot of people, they look into the features of these lights, and they're like, okay, I just want all the colors, and I want my stuff to be RGB, and they don't care that much about the accented lighting, like, you know, permanently. They just want their house to be a festival at all times of the year. Now, for some more serious people, warm white is actually the only thing they care about. And so, you know, definitely the warm white is kind of a huge selling point for the pros. You know, some people are totally okay with the color of the white that these lights offer, but a lot of people are fans of the warm white. So yeah, you're right. For that case, you know, the pros would be a good option, and a lot of people would prefer to spend that extra money just to get that warm white, because it is beautiful accented lighting for the warm white. So that would be my thoughts on that.
Yeah, the warm whites is definitely adjustable in terms of the warmness too, and you can dial in just the way you feel for the right vibe. And I think the HOA will like it more when it's warm white, when it's not the holiday.
Yeah.
And warm white versus like white, like this is still kind of bluish white. It will go as white, but some people will say it still looks more like not natural light.
Right.
It's just bluish light.
Yeah, so these would be bright white, and the pros would offer a little bit more versatility on the warm white.
Perfect. Yeah. I'm probably going to go with the pros because I know installation is going to be a little bit pricey, because all the installation for all this type of work is pricey. So if you're going to get it done once, I'd rather go with the pros. And one more thing with the pros that I don't think you mentioned, but you probably already know, is that if any of these lights go bad, on the pros, I can splice out that one light and replace that one bulb instead of having you to tear down one strip. Is that a consideration?
That's right. So, you know, it seems like this man is the expert here.
No, I just do my research. I've been doing my research.
So, you know, obviously if you're looking at something like this, and, you know, an installation that's this pricey and this big, then you have to do your research. So very good on David for doing his homework. But yes, if these lights do go out, you don't have to replace the entire strand because of the technology that Govee offers for the pros. You will be able, if you have extra lights, presuming you have extra, or, you know, let's say you need to buy more, you can buy the shortest amount, or you can use your extra to splice a light if one of them stops working. But thankfully these lights are, I believe, IP67 water resistant. So you know, apart from any defect that they may have, personally we have never experienced any defects with Govee lights, which is why they're our go-to as far as permanent installations for these sort of holiday, you know, decorative lightings. But if that were to be the case, then yes, you can definitely do that. And on top of that, these lights do have a 3-year manufacturer warranty. So
nice.
Yeah, so a lot of people actually feel that gives them a little bit more security as far as you know, choosing these lights, because, you know, obviously the warranty, the manufacturer warranty is a great thing in case these are defective. Yeah,
my goal is to have them on for 5, possibly 10 years, because I really like these lights and it's an investment for the installation.
That's right.
So that's really good to hear that you've had a lot of success with installing them and never really run into any failures.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yes.
All right. Awesome. Well, thank you for the rundown of the lights.
Of course.
I want to go with the best of the best. I'm going to go for the pros for sure.
Okay.
Because I want you to be able to cut when you need it, and especially when you have some links at the end, I'd rather you cut it so it's clean instead of using black tape to hide the lights.
Yes.
All right. So little things like that. I'm spending the money, so I do want to go with the best of the best. But I do like that you gave the reason for the budget options, which I think a lot of people are fine with if they're okay with those shortcomings, and some people may not care they'd rather just save the money. Okay, perfect. The last question, and I appreciate your time.
Of course.
Thank you for coming over for this quotation. Yes.
Yeah, I was saying it's my pleasure being here.
I'm super happy to hear that, my friend. I love working with people that are passionate about what they do, and obviously today is a Saturday and you have your time with your family, but you took time to come over here, so I appreciate that. So it does show that you are serious about your business and serious about, you know, making sure that I have what I need to decide if I want to go with you or any other brand, or maybe risk my life to do it myself. Probably not. But last question is, if we can go crazy, where would you envision more lights? And as a 2 cent, maybe so you have experience with Govee lights, you may want to add, the Christmas string lights there, or maybe anything else. Since you have experience with lights, I would listen to that as well. Yeah, well, you know, Govee over time has had a lot of new releases for different lights, and so they're really, you know, covering a lot of different areas. Obviously, for any home, I think the go-to would obviously be the Govee Permanent Outdoor Lights Pro.
those would be the immediate choice for any sort of house, and obviously what we already discussed today. Now, as far as other sorts of lights, Govee offers these floodlights. So there's these outdoor floodlights which you can put on the ground, which can do a good job at highlighting the architectural points here. So you have this brick, you have all these windows. So the floodlights might add a nice underglow effect that's shining upwards. So if I were to go crazy, that might be something that I might do. Now, as for the windows, Govee also offers strips. So these are neon LED strips, and you can actually run them all across the windows. So you can put those on every single window.
Oh, wow.
If you're saying, go crazy. So
yes.
This is what crazy looks like. You would go around all the windows,
yep.
Put the neon lights. These lights are also good for going around these rails. So if you wanted to, wrap the rail somehow and run the lights that way, you can also do that. Govee also has these kind of like it's more of like it's actually more of a light like this, but it's RGB.
That is RGB. That is Govee.
This one is Govee.
That is Govee. They have two types. They have a new one that has an up and down light.
Exactly.
And then this is the older one, which I love because it looks more traditional.
I see.
And I already got it.
Okay, yeah, I see. I didn't even see the little Govee right there. But yes, the ones I was referring to, the ones that shine downwards and upwards.
Yes.
So those could go here. Now, obviously, David likes the look of the more traditional lights. Just because of the styling of his home, I assume it probably matches a little bit more.
Yeah.
But for a lot of people, those lights that I'm talking about that shine both upwards and downwards might be an attractive place to place them right here on the sides of the garage. So, one could go right here, one can go on that side. Now, obviously, David already has this this beautiful curtain of Govee lights that looks really, really nice at night. So, he already went crazy on that end. No need for that today. But yeah, so I would say just wrapping around all the lights. The windows. All the windows with the
strip lights.
Exactly, with those neon strip lights.
I know they have the neon strip lights classic. They got the neon strip lights 2 as well, right? The 2 is probably better. I don't know much about the strip lights. That's what I'm asking you.
Yeah, the 2s are definitely a little bit better. It was more of a kind of like experiment with the first ones because there were some people complaining about like the durability and stuff like that. But Govee really took that to heart, and they made a big difference as far as the 2s. So the 2s are definitely more reliable, and I think a lot of people would be happy with using the 2s.
Okay,
yeah.
Cool. How about in terms of permanent outdoor? Oh, actually, I didn't let you finish. You had more crazy ideas, right?
Yeah. So, well, as far as permanent, because I actually was going to mention, obviously, like, come all the way across the house.
Yep.
We have unlimited budget here. We can do whatever we want.
Yep.
We would go all the way around the house.
Of
make
course.
sure we have the brightest lights, which are the pros.
Yep.
And the most versatility, and that would be the pros. Without a question.
Awesome. So. Yeah. How about, because I gave you the question of all the options of Govee lights, but now let's just say we only can use Govee permanent outdoor lights Pro. Where would you install them, or would you even try to install them on other places like the other installers said? Because you would be attacking stucco, you would be installing in a non-ideal location, like putting it here and putting up. I know we don't have the 2.5 or the required spacing, which is like I think 5 to 10 centimeters, right? So what are your thoughts about installing Govee permanent outdoor lights elsewhere around other than we shared?
Yeah, well, obviously we want to be able to meet your vision as closely as possible.
Yep.
If your vision is to, absolutely go crazy with the lights and have these outdoor permanent light pros, surrounding the architecture of your house, that's definitely something that's possible. Now, obviously with the texture that you have on your home, it might be a slightly more challenging to install these lights all the way around in a permanent sense. But it is definitely something that's not impossible, and that could be definitely be done. I mean, we will match your vision as closely as possible. So if you want to have these crazy Govee lights highlighting all the architectural aspects of your home, wrapping them under there, going across, maybe like going under the windows, that is something that's definitely doable. It's just more up to your personal preference.
But maybe not ideal because Govee outdoor lights Pro are more ideal for eaves installation.
That's right. Yeah, so, obviously, as I mentioned before, if you're going to highlight certain aspects of your home, there's other sorts of lightings that might be a little bit more convenient for that, such as the neon rope lights.
Yep.
The Govee Light Pros, they have a specific shining pattern.
Yep.
Right, and so it's kind of like the outwards V, and it shines downwards. And so, some people might want to go crazy and install them around, different areas and such. But I think for most people, they're going to want a different sort of accident lighting if they do want to highlight different areas of their home. So I think you're right, David. I think definitely it wouldn't be ideal, right, if that's something that you want to do. But it definitely is possible.
Okay, that's good to know. And I've gotten different opinions from different installers. I hate to be a bias, but so far I do like yours the best because you do recommend the optimal lighting for each situation versus just going with what I asked for and just say, hey, where can I also install the Govee at the Light Pros? Because I wasn't thinking. I was just trying to be simplified where we just have these lights. Let's just get 4 boxes of 200 and just go to town. But it makes more sense to be more kind of creative with the designs, using the floodlights there, using the upward lights on the side there, and then using the neon rope lights, and then even wrapping around that little bar area. I like that. Okay, very good. So I guess last but not least, pricing. Now, I know every house is different and prices change all the time, but right now, this is August of 2025, not the ideal time for installing lights. So maybe, is it usually cheaper if you get installing quotes around this time of year or end of year? What's your 2 cents on that?
So it's actually, at this time of year, actually we're very busy with installation. So perhaps if you would have, maybe called me up, a month or 2 ago, it would have been a little bit cheaper. But around this time, August, things start to ramp up a little bit, especially for the Christmas season. So right now is actually the start of that. Now, as far as pricing, are we talking the whole entire house? Are we talking the theoretical go crazy? Right. So
let's talk about 3 budgets, and you can be brief on it because we don't want to bore everyone here because everyone has their own installation. So the budget one is just up there, over there, and the eave of Pro lights. And don't worry about the cost of the lights because actually, you can factor in the cost of the lights just as an estimate. That way we can kind of have a total.
I see. So you're saying this side and this side? This
side, and that eave right there with the permanent outdoor lights Pro. That's the budget. That's the minimum that I would do. And I would go with the Pros just because I want the warm white.
Yeah. Okay. So for an installation like this and installing the eave, this would probably be a $2,800 job, right around the ballpark of that.
$2,800. Okay.
Yes. And obviously the eave is a little bit more. You have to separate the circuit, and so you're obviously going to need the Pros if you want to do that. Or you could buy a different lighting set, but if you're going to have Pros all throughout, why not have it on the eaves as well?
Of course,
and
absolutely.
So you want to have the similar types of lights all the way around. Now the second quote would be...
Oh wait, hang on. Since the previous video that I showed on my channel, we didn't include the price of the lights.
Yeah.
So if that was a lights and installation, but what if we just did the lights, just the installation, and I supplied the lights?
Yeah.
So that's like $700 less.
Yeah. So we would most likely use it would be like a 150 to 200 foot kit, right? So that would be the one that we'd use because we're only covering these 2 sides. And that runs you around $500 to $700 depending on which size you get, right? And so, if you were to subtract that from our quote, then it'd be sitting around $2,300. For just the labor of installation and our services to install this today.
And the time of installation probably 1 day, or
yes. So the installation date would be the length would just be 1 day.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so we'd get this done in a day. Yeah.
Excellent. I that's a little bit higher than the other quotes I got, but that's also probably because you're doing raceways. The other installers didn't quote me for raceway, and they said go with the simple just wood and paint.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because these raceways are very, Govee doesn't make them Govee.
Yeah, I know, right?
Hey.
Just apply this with the kid. That's one of my difficulty with researching, because I know the pros. I just go for the
Yes.
best. But then there's so many raceways. There's ones you can get from Alibaba. There's one that you can get from third parties, from Etsy, and there's Home Depot ones. There's so many, and then none of them really fit. Everyone does a little customization.
Yeah.
There's no like guarantee it will work type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So you're taking a little bit of a risk with when going aftermarket with stuff like that. So hey, Govee, if
Yeah,
you want to
exactly.
make your own, I think there's a big market for that. There's a lot of money to be made there. But yeah, so those are a little bit difficult to source. So obviously you want to use the highest quality products and make sure that everything is done perfectly. So yeah, obviously the raceways to make sure that this is a super clean look is something that would definitely add a little bit more to the cost. But yeah, this is
fair.
Yeah, that's
I like the
opinion.
price because of the raceway and the fact that you'll be able to get it installed one day, and also because it's already Christmas season time that people are already wiring this up. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, and then I guess not to spend too much time, but the other option is just adding the lights all around. So
Yes.
the simple installation plus all around.
Yeah. So in that case, obviously we're not adding this bottom section right here, which is this second eave.
Yes, we are.
So is there another one in the back?
No, there's nothing in the back. Just one here. So all around and one eve.
Okay.
Just one eve.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to say is, in the backside, there isn't this other part.
Oh,
we
correct.
We had to create a second circuit, right?
Correct.
So,
My bad.
Yeah. So we could, obviously we'd adjust the pricing for that, but for going around, the price would be double the size.
Essentially.
Yeah. The price would be double just because we're basically installing double the amount of lights. Now, obviously, as you go a little bit higher, we do offer a little bit more discount.
Yep.
But double the size, double the price. That's what we would be doing here.
Okay, perfect. Excellent. So that's fair. It makes a lot of sense. I would probably, with those two options, I would probably go with just the basic, because I don't feel that the backside is double the value to me. It's double the work for you.
Yes.
And at that point, it makes sense just for the side here and the side here that is more visually available to the people around the house, plus that.
That's
right. Last is the Go Crazy. Please do one without the price of the lights, and then one with kind of factoring the lights. And I know it's an estimate because everyone has different setups, but like we talked about, just kind of roughly highlight what you would suggest and how much it would cost for all that.
I see.
Yeah.
So you're asking me to basically give you a theoretical situation of where I would charge you to install all of these crazy lights that we were thinking of.
Yes.
I see.
Because in the event that Govee is inspired by your creativity and they would like to sponsor our next video, they will send all the lights and they will pay for your service to do a professional job to show what the correct installation with the right budget and the freedom to use all of Govee's lineup can look like. So that's my goal.
Yes.
And you can be very ballpark on the budget. I know at this point maybe the budget's not important.
Yes.
Maybe just kind of like, okay, maybe we're talking about 6,000, maybe 8,000, maybe 10,000 worth of installation.
Yes.
And then light wise, we don't even need to mention the budget of the lights. We can just say the floor lights here and the floor lights there, and then kind of estimate like, oh, these might cost $200. This might cost $300. Just really rough estimate at this point, just to see what potential that we can come up to.
Well, considering the quote that I gave for the Govee Pros that go all the way around, and these additional lights that we mentioned, like the neon rope lights and the up lights.
Yes.
I would say that with an additional budget of $1,000 on top of what we already had discussed, which is sitting around the ballpark of $4,000 to $5,000 for the Pro
all
lights.
around. Yep.
I think we could really light this entire house up with anywhere from $5,000 to $6,000.
Okay, so it's actually not expensive as I thought, because it's a little bit cheaper because they're easier to install than those permanent outdoor lights. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, so if you did want to go crazy, that's how much it would cost. The most challenging ones are the Pros, because these are sitting on these wood plates that come across these rafters, and obviously that's more challenging.
Yep.
But these neon lights that would go across, that's kind of a little bit easier thing to do. Obviously we'd have to figure out wiring and power.
Yep.
But that is much more simple than these lights up here. So that would be my kind of ballpark.
Perfect.
Goal.
Yes, I like it. And then of course we'll leave links down below so you can see the floodlights, you can see the up lights, you can see the neon rope lights too, and however you want to string them around here. You can even throw some Christmas lights too, strings in here, and hopefully the HOA won't be trimming down your tree during the holidays. But whatever you want to do, these guys will install it for roughly around a budget of $5,000 to $6,000. That's pretty much like unlimited creativity. So if I pay you $6,000 and I ask you to install this there, that there, and you can pretty much do the whole house.
We would do everything.
That's awesome. That's nice to know that there is a limit on how much I have to put out for installation, but it's a decent limit. Like $5,000 to $6,000 is not cheap.
Yeah, and I think a lot of, you know, obviously it's a lot of money. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that, you know, this is not a large sum of money. But I think what most people look for is you know, long-term savings. These lights wouldn't necessarily be an expense more than it is an investment, right? Because, you know, you have your family, you have your kids, and obviously you want to make them happy and, you know, have lights during the holidays and things like that. And so, you know, spending money every single year, putting these lights up, taking them down, if it's not yourself risking, you know, your health and your safety, you're putting someone else at risk that's putting up these lights every single year. And on top of that, you're paying your hard-earned money every single year to put up these lights. So for a lot of people, this is a very intelligent investment because once you put it up, you don't have to take it down, and it can stay there for many, many years and have all the options and versatility that you might want in lights.
Yeah, cool. So maybe you stand over here and just kind of wrap up what you offer, how to find you, and of course we have the Govee lights here. So I just want to kind of frame this in right here as we just kind of end the video. And really, I really appreciate your time.
Of course, thanks for everything. Yeah. So again, my name is Dairon. I'm the founder and owner of Silicon Valley Lights. Yep, that's my shirt right there. Our website is actually siliconvalleylights.com. We are based in the Bay Area, so we service the entire Bay Area. We do go out occasionally, you know, maybe Concord, maybe Black Hawk, a little bit further out, but mainly focus on the Bay Area. And apart from permanent installations like we're discussing today, we have these, you know, Govee permanent lights, which are our go-tos. We also do event lighting as well. So we, you know, do lighting for weddings. We do lighting for birthday parties, you know, sweet 16s, corporate events. So that's, you know, that's the, I guess, more temporary side of lighting. And, you know, as far as permanent lights, we do these. We, you know, do market lights, or, you know, some people call them bistro or string lights. And so we focus on everything that is decorative lighting that is either temporary for events, for Christmas especially. Christmas season is coming up. We are going to be offering some specials soon for Christmas. So we do offer the Christmas lights as well. Installation, takedown, and then, you know, we have things like these, you know, string lights, Govee lights, up lights. So that's mainly what we offer.
Nice. I know I'm going to put you on the spot for this, but I know you had discounts. If people mention my channel, UTECHPIA, would you be able to give them any extra discount, or you have already discounted as it is?
Yes, absolutely. I'll be willing to do that for the channel. So for all you guys that are watching, if you go through my buddy David, on the spot, he's putting me on the spot here. On the spot, I will give you guys a 15% discount. 15? 50? 15%. 15. Okay, I heard 50. he tried to get you. He tried it. Okay. 15% discount for all of David's followers.
That's solid. And the code is UTECHPIA. We'll put it on the screen right here. And just mention that when you go to Silicon Valley Lights. So thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. I look forward to potentially going with you. And Govee, if you guys are watching, let us work together and see if you can help us make my dream come true of having the ultimate Govee lights and impress all of my neighbors.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Thanks.